Okay. We'll start, right? Others will eventually come, right? I'll put now. Now, before we start, I just want to remind certain things that we did on the previous day. And revise करलन तीन ने कब आ रहा है? कब revise कर मत मात्र कोड revise करेंगे नहीं हैं? Okay. Now, ah, अब तो बात कोई बार अंदर पे करने में, हाँ, ये पे करने में मना करने सब नमे, हाँ, इतना तो बात नहीं है ना, मुकाम बार नहीं ये जो मिनट सिरा one words, sure? Ah. Huh? No, you better put back over. Okay. Now, last week we discussed certain things. Now, quickly remind me. What is money? Money is cash. Yes. Money is anything which is common, which has a value and used for exchange. There are two types of functions of money. What are they? Primary functions and secondary functions. Imad mana primary functions देखा क्या? Unit of measure and a medium of exchange and unit of measure. हमेशा मतलब secondary functions देखा क्या? Store value. मतलब करेगा right? Okay. Now, when it comes to the financial system of Sri Lanka, there are 5 components to remember. What are the 5 components? Components pahatin. Financial system is made out of 5 components. What are they? Sohail? The financial tools, financial infrastructure, financial markets, financial institutes, and the CBS. Right? Those are the 5 components that you have to remember. Now tell me what is, we'll say, okay, we'll go to the central bank. Central bank, there you have a monetary board. Right? In a central bank, you have a monetary board. In a monetary board, there are 5 members. Who are the 5 members there? The 5 members? The Governor General, the Secretary of Finance, and the 3 appointed members of the President. And then, Marina, there are 2 objectives with the central bank. What are they? Financial stability and financial stability and price stability and financial stability. Okay, price stability and financial system stability. And the central bank has two functions. You can divide functions into 2 types, into main and agency functions. Tell me 2 main functions, Lorraine. Main functions देखा? Conducting the monetary policy, controlling the exchange policies, right? Second functions, second agency functions, managing the EPF, and then foreign exchange. Okay, correct. Now, with that, we'll move on to the next area, that is about the commercial banks. So, what are commercial banks? What are commercial banks gaining? Banks obtain license for what? Right, the banks which obtain license to conduct current accounts and right? Right? Banks. No, the banks which can be banks which use license, sorry, bank which has obtained license to conduct current accounts and foreign exchange. So that is what commercial banks are. There are some facilities provided by commercial bank. What are the facilities that commercial banks provide? Credit facilities. Apart from deposits and credit, what are the other facilities? Yeah, apart from deposits and loans, what are the other facilities that they provide? Foreign loans. Foreign currency exchange, product. Apart from deposits and loans, there are some other facilities that is provided by commercial banks. What are they? Marina? Agents functions other services කියලා තියෙන්නේ මම other services කියලා තියෙන්නේ leasing services, safety lockers, right? Those are some other services that is provided by commercial banks. Now loans are divided into overdraft and loans, right? Overdraft credit facility is divided into overdrafts and loans. Overdrafts are divided into two overdraft types there. Temporary overdraft and permanent overdraft. Amisha මට කියන්නේ permanent overdraft දවස් කීයෙන් settle කරන්න ඕනේද? Permanent overdraft දවස් කීයෙන් settle කරන්න ඕනේද? 264 days. Temporary overdraft එකට collateral එකක් ඕනේද? එතනදී? ඕන. Right. When it comes to loans, the loans are divided into two. Commercial loans and personal loans. So those are things that we discuss, and then we discuss the checks as well, right? Okay. ඒක මතක ඇති කියලා හිතාගෙන ඊළඟ එකට යනවා. මතකයක් නම් පේන්නේ නැහැ. මම උත්තර අහනකොට සමහරු මේ අහක බලා ගන්නවා නිකන් තරු ගහිනවා. අමිෂ නිකන් යන්නේ එතන නෑ නෑ වගේ අමිෂ කියනවා නෑ කොහොමද එහෙම බලබලී. Right. Okay. Next one. The functions of licensed specialized bank. Right. So we are moving on to the next type of financial institutes. That is the functions of licensed specialized banks. One is accepting time and saving deposits. What is time deposits? Time deposits can be fixed deposits or time deposits can be. Then what is demand deposits? Demand deposits means demand means current accounts. Sometimes we also call it as DDs. Providing credit for businesses, underwriting of company shares, leasing services, and management consultancy services. Those are some functions that they do. So here you have word for underwriting of shares. What is that? Underwriting of shares. Share underwriting again. What is share underwriting? Shares underwrite karna kya? So you will learn at the end of the day what is underwriting, what is margin providers, and what is investment managers, right? So just remember there is something called underwriting of shares. Now, finance companies, you can see in Sri Lanka you have something called registered finance companies. Those are some finance institutes that is registered to conduct. Those are public limited companies, right? The example is not in finance companies. Lanka is in finance companies examples. Then maybe in the Kota finance companies, they have power in nothing. LB Finance. LB Finance, LOLT, right? Valuable ones, right? People's Leasing. Again, finance companies. Good. Right. Now, when it comes to functions, right? There are real estates and providing leasing facilities, providing short-term loans, and investing in government securities. These are some of the functions related to what? The licensed finance companies, right? Real estates mean what? Real estates. Lands and property, right? Trading lands and properties is what you call as real estate. And they will provide short-term loans, they will provide leasing, and then they invest in government securities. And then there is leasing companies. What do you mean by a lease? Lease means what? Question exam. What is a lease? What do you mean by leasing? The lease dala vahanam ganna. What is the leasing? Hmm? What's the leasing? No, it's not insurance. Hmm? What is leasing? Oh, Bamuttar. Lorendan. Yeah. What is leasing? So leasing means purchasing of a high value asset at a installment basis. Ne? Purchasing of an asset, right? Purchasing of a high valued asset on an installment basis is simply what you call as a lease facility. Okay. So what are the benefits that you get when you obtain a lease? The lease ka ganna ke mukatti nawasi. So let's say you are running a production company, and for this you need to deliver the goods, right? You need to deliver the goods. Deliver karanna vaata vehicle ekak. So you go for a container or something, right? You go for a lorry, right? You go for a vehicle. Motor vehicle ka purchase karna. This motor vehicle cost 10 million. But what you have now in your hand is 2.5 million. අතේ තියෙන්නේ 2.5 million. හැබැයි vehicle එක 10 million. Purchase කරන්න පුළුවන්ද සල්ලි දීලා ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? සල්ලි දීලා ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑනේ. අතේ 2.5 තියෙන්නේ cost එක 10. So you can't purchase it right now. So what do? You go for a leasing. You put 2.5 as the down payment and you obtain the vehicle. කොච්චරක් වියදම් වුණාද අතින්? අතින් වියදම් වුණේ 2.5. But මං ගාව දැන් කොච්චරක් වටින asset එකක් තියෙනවද? 10 million worth asset එකක් තියෙනවා. So one benefit is ability to obtain high valued assets without spending a lump sum at a time. එකපාර 10 million දෙන වාහනේ ගත්තේ නෑනේ. 2.5 දින තමයි වාහනේ ගත්තේ. ඊටු ටික පොඩ පොඩ ගෙවගෙන යනවා. Now I can get better returns, right? I can get better returns from this investment without investing the entire 10 million right now. 10 million then invest කරන්න නැතුව මට පුළුවන් හොඳ return එකක් ගන්න by just investing 2.5 million. Okay? So that is one option. And then තව මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? ඕකේ තියෙනවා, right? Benefits of leasing. Lease installments are free from taxes. Now let's say I want to buy a land or a building. Building එකක් තියෙනවා, that's a building. So let's say 10 million worth building එකක් තියෙනවා. If I purchase the 10 million worth building by paying direct cash, I will be charged taxes. මට 10 million worth building එකක් ගන්න තරම් අතේ සල්ලි තියෙනවා. අල්ල ගන්නවා tax වලට. Plus I have to pay taxes on this land. But when I lease this particular land, right? Lease එකක් දාන්න මම land එක පොඩ පොඩ ගෙවගෙන යන්න ගත්තාම for the lease purposes I am not charged any taxes, right? Lease purposes වලට ගත්තාම මට taxes charge වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So I can get tax benefits on my particular asset. Got it? So that is another benefit. And even many business people, they do this, right? එයාලා සල්ලි තියෙන මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවනේ. සල්ලි දෙන මිනිස්සු කෑෂ් දීලා එකපාර ගන්න. අපේ මිනිස්සු මොකද කරන්නේ? සල්ලි අතර ආපු ගමන් අම්මන්සරි මට සල්ලි දෙනවා කියලා පෙන්නන්න කියලා සල්ලි දීලා එකපාර වාහනේ ගන්නවා. ගත්තම එයාලා මොනවද? ටැක්ස් වලට අහු වෙනවා, right? ඒවට අහු වෙනවා. But people who have money, their financial discipline is they know some shortcuts. එක shortcut එකක් තමයි assets lease කරන්නේ. lease කරාම කවුද ගෙවන්නේ? බැංකුවෙන් ගෙවනවා. බැංකුවට අපි පොඩ ගෙවන්න යන එකක් තියෙන්නේ. So then අපේ tax වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So that is one thing. And not required to pay a large amount of money to acquire assets. Those are some benefits that you have. Here under the leasing companies, there's a function that is telling you debt financing. What is debt financing? Debt financing, or we call it as debt factoring. Debt financing or debt factoring. What is this? ඉක්මනට කියන්නකො මම ඔයාලගේ පේපර් එක print එකට යනකොට. What is debt factoring or debt financing? එකයි දෙකයි ආයිෂනාද? ආයිෂ නැද්ද අද? සනීපනේ. අපි 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 12 papers 12යි. තව කවුරුත් එන්න ඉන්නවද? හර්ෂය නේද දන්නේ නැහැ නේ? හර්ෂය නේද දන්නේ? සෙට් එතකොට 14ක් ගහමු. Okay, debt financing or debt factoring. So now what happens here is in debt financing and debt factoring, let's say now we have sold goods on credit, right? We have sold goods on credit. අපි කියමු the Lorraine has sold goods to Casey, right? Lorraine has sold goods to Casey. ඒ කියන්නේ on credit basis. මෙයා බඩු අරන් යනවා ණයට කියලා. right? හෙට දෙන්නම් අනිත් දෙන්න ලබන මාස දෙන්නම් කියලා අරන් යනවා. Now let's say after the due date, right? After due date, Lorraine is asking the money back. එයා සල්ලි දෙන්නේ නැහැ පොඩ්ඩක් පස්සේ ගන්න. Or else maybe in the middle of the month, Lorraine has an emergency for money, so she is asking the money. So she is saying no, right? දෙන්න බෑ මම තව දවස් දෙකක් දෙන්න නැත්නම් සතියක් දෙකක් දෙන්න මාසයක් දෙකක් දෙන්න කියලා එයා කල්ලි ඉල්ලනවා. What she can do is she can go for a leasing company to a debt factor, right? Debt factoring කරන්න යන්න පුළුවන්. එතන මොකද වෙන්නේ? අපි කියමුකෝ let's say the value of the debt is 100,000, right? The value of the debt is 100,000. This 100,000 value of the invoice, right? The invoice value of 100,000 can be sold to the finance company, right? එයාට sell කරලා වාට ගන්න පුළුවන් 95,000 වගේ ගණන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. You can sell the receipt to them and can get 95,000, right? ඒ ගාණක් වාට ගන්න පුළුවන් from the debt factoring company. හදිස්සියේ ඉන්නකොට, right? emergency එකක් තියෙනකොට වාට ලක්ෂයක් හම්බ වෙනට වඩා 95,000 හම්බුණා ඇති. දැන් මෙයාගේ ලක්ෂ ඉල්ලුවට දෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. මෙයා මාසයක් ඉල්ලනවා. දෙන්නේ නැහැ. බට් ඔයාලට දැන් සල්ලි ඕන. දැන් සල්ලි ඕන වෙනකොට ඔයාලට 95000ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වත් ඒත් ගන්නවා. Right? So what you do, you sell the receipt to the company at a discounted rate, right? You sell it for 95,000 and you get your cash and you go away. එතකොට මෙයා සල්ලි අරගෙන මෙයා 95000 මෙයා අරගෙන යනවා. දැන් බිල් එක කාගාවත් තියෙන්නේ? with the company. Now, Casey, to whom you should pay? To Lorraine or the company? To the company. So the company ගිහිල්ලා මෙයාගෙන් සල්ලි ටික අරගෙන යනවා. Right? The company will collect money from her. Let's say she is delaying her payment. When she is delaying, they will charge an interest on that as well. So that is what we call debt factoring. Clear? අතර ඔය question එකක් එන්න පුළුවන් what is debt factoring කියලා. Right. And then providing leasing facilities, pawning of jewelries, share underwriting. So see, මෙතන share underwriting කියන එක ආයෙනවා. Even when it comes to the licensed specialized bank, you saw a word called underwriting of shares. Even for leasing companies, you have share underwriting. So we'll see what is this. But before that, we are in leasing. There are three types of lease. What are they? The three types of lease: finance lease, operating lease, and sale and leaseback. Finance lease, operating lease, sale and leaseback. I think what is finance lease? Finance lease. Finance lease. තාම කියවනවා. හිටියනේ පාටට. ඇත්ත. තියරි එකේ හිටියා. Finance lease. It is the right. It is the regular. It's the regular leasing that we know. අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දන්න අඳුරන leasing කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේකට. Right? So it says it is a large, sorry, it's a lease agreement between the lessor and the lessee. Who is lessee? Is it the person who obtained leasing or is it the company? Lessor කියන්නේ කාටද? lessee කියන්නේ කාටද? Lessor is the company. Lessee is the person who obtains the leasing, right? ඕක පටල ගන්න එපා. This is a lease agreement between the lessor and the lessee on the basis of paying the lease rent on monthly installments for using leased assets. The lessor doesn't take responsibility of maintaining the assets. When the lease agreement ends, the lessee will get the legal right to the asset. The lease agreement between the lessor and the lessee on the basis of paying the lease rent monthly installment for using the lease asset, right? Then may lessor අපි promise කරනවා, right? lessor එක අපි agreement එකකට යනවා. Where we will pay the lease on a monthly basis. You didn't go into this, sorry. And forgot. I forgot last week didn't come. Okay. Right. So here the lessee is promising that we'll be paying the monthly lease installment to the lessor along with the interest. After the lease agreement ends, we'll say we took the lease for 5 years. අවුරුදු පහකට ගත්ත කියන්නකෝ. අවුරුදු පහකට ගෙවන්න යනවා. After 5 years, can we keep the asset or should we return the asset? We can keep the asset to ourselves, right? අපේ asset එක තියාගන්න පුළුවන්. The lessee is able, right? The lessee is now the sole owner of the asset. Okay. The next one is operating lease. This is a type of a lease that has no specific time period, but of short term in nature. Operating lease is a short term one. The finance lease is comparatively long term. Finance lease that සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 5 to 20 years විතර යන්න පුළුවන්. Right? You can go for a finance lease for 5 to 20 years. But when it comes to operating lease, it is very short term, maybe 6 months. Now, why is this? Why do we need operating lease? We get the asset for our operational purpose. අපි කියමු දැන් අපිට කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් එකක් කරන්න තියෙනවා කියලා. right? now අපි කියමු අතේක්කේ තියෙන කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් කම්පැනි එකක්. but එයාට නෑ අපි කියමුකෝ ඩෝස් එකක් නෑ කියන්නකෝ. right? එයාට ඩෝස් එකක් නෑ. so what he can do, he can buy one. අපි ඩෝස් එකක් ගන්න මම අපි කියමු 300 million විතර යනවා. එතර සල්ලි අතේ නෑ. දැන් මොනවද කරන්න බලන්න. දැන් එයාට ඩෝස් එක ඕනේ මාස 3කට වගේ. දැන් මාස 3කට වැඩකට 300 million වේදම් කරන එක මොඩඩන්නේ. So what he can do is he can lease it on operational basis. You take the dozer for just 3 months. You pay lease for 3 months. That's all. You use it and then you can return it back. This is what you call as operating lease. Now, after 3 months, can you keep the asset? After 3 months, you can't keep the asset. The asset has to be returned to the lessor, right? You can use it only for the 3 particular months. And then after you have used it, after the time period, you have to return the asset to the lessor. Okay? And who maintains the asset? Is it the lessee or the lessor? It is the lessor, right? The lessor is the one who is maintaining the asset. අපි නෙමෙයි. asset එකේ maintenance ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ lessor, right? Not the lessee. right? company එකෙන් තමයි කරන්නේ. අපි කරන්නේ නැහැ. now for example දැන් අපි කියමුකෝ. දැන් අතේ dose එකක් ගත්තනේ. ගත්ත dose එක මිනිහා හරියට පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. ඔය කොහරි වගුරු මේකට දාලා right? නිකන් ඒක මලකට ගන්නවා. if the lessor gets to know about this, දැන් lease එක ගන්න දැන් මාසෙයි තාම right? operate මාස 3කට ගත්තේ තාම මාසෙයි. හැබැයි මිනිහා වාහනේ හරියට පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඔය නිකන් මලකට ගන්නවා අවුවටයි වැස්සටයි වේලෙනවයි තෙමෙනවයි කොහොම නිකන් තියෙන්නේ. If they see this and if they get to know about the misuse of the asset, the lessor, they can cancel the agreement anytime and they can take back the asset anytime. අර මිනිස්සයා agreement එකකින් ඉන්න ඕනද? නැහැ. ගත්තක් නෑ agreement එකකින් ඉන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. right? They can cancel off the asset, right? They can cancel off the agreement and they can take back the asset as they want. අනිත් පැත්තේ න්යායයි. right? අපි ගමු දැන් මාස 3කට න්යාය ගත්තා. මාසෙන් වැඩි එකල. තව මාස දෙකක් තියාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ නානේ. නෑ තව මාස දෙකක් තියාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ. මාසෙන් රිටර්න් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒක ගැටලුවක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Any party can cancel the agreement at any time. right? Any party can cancel the agreement at any time. But when it comes to finance lease, එහෙම බෑ. right? දෙන්නම agreement එක තමයි cancel කරන්න ඕනේ. right? When it comes to finance lease, දෙන්නම agreement එක තමයි cancel කරන්න ඕනේ. But when it comes to operating lease, any party can cancel the agreement at any time. දැන් මම මෙතන මේ කියන්නේ සමහරක් මම මෙතන include කරලා නැහැ theory tute එකේ තියෙනවා. But in case difference එකක් ඇහුවා. right? What is the difference between finance lease and operating lease? ඒතර ලියන්න ඕන වෙනවා අන්නේ මේ තියනවා කියලා. And the third one is sale and leaseback. In this method, a firm can sell an asset owned by them to a leasing company and take back the same asset into use under a lease agreement. By this method, the company can get cash by selling the asset and the ability to use the asset again. Again, දැන් අපි කියමු ඔයාලා ගාව තියෙන asset එක. You have an asset. You have a motor vehicle. Even though you have the motor vehicle, you use it for the delivery purposes. Delivery purposes වලට ඔයාලා asset මේ vehicle එක use කරනවා. But you have a cash emergency. සල්ලි හදිස්සියක් තියෙනවා. දැන් වාහනේ විකුණන සල්ලි ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? වාහනේ විකුණන සල්ලි ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් වාහනේ විකුණන සල්ලි ගත්තට බිස්නස් එකේ day to day වැඩ කරගෙන යන වාහනේ වුණනේ. ඒතර දැන් ඒකට මොකද කරන්නේ? දැන් සල්ලිත් තමයි වාහනේත් ඕනේ. right? You need money and you need the asset as well. So in this situation only, this sale and leaseback comes in action. What you can do, you can sell the asset to the leasing company and you can get the money. And you can sell the asset to the leasing company and get the money. And then the same asset can be leased back. එතකොට වාහනයට පොඩ ගෙවාගෙන යනවා. තමන්ගේ අතේ තියෙන කෑෂ් ටික like අර වාහනයට ගත්ත කෑෂ් ටික අර particular emergency එකට use කරන්න පුළුවන්. තේරුණා? So that's why you need sale and leaseback. One is if there's a cash emergency, you can sell your asset to the company. Same asset on the next day, right? The same asset can be leased back to you. Now you have the cash plus the asset. දෙකම තියෙනවා. Right? So there is the benefit of sale and leaseback. Maybe they will give you a scenario. Scenario එකක් දීලා කියනවා මෙහෙම situation එකක් තියෙන්නේ. What is the best leasing method that you are suggesting? හොඳම leasing method එක suggest කරන හොඳම leasing method එක මොකක්ද? ඇයි එහෙම suggest කරන්නේ? What are the reasons? කියලා අන්න ලියන්නේ. I don't know. Explanation question එකක් එහෙම එන්න පුළුවන්. essay type question එකක් එහෙම එන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So those are the types of leasing that we have. Then they have licensed specialized banks, finance companies, leasing companies, and yeah. Next we will move on to the next one. That is venture capital firms. ළමයි venture capital firms කිව්වම small business කියන එක මතක තියාගන්න. When it comes to venture capital firms, always they provide capital for small businesses. They provide capital for startups, right? If you are starting a new business, right? අලුතෙන් business එකකින් පටන් ගන්න අදහසක් තියෙනවා නම්, right? අලුතෙන් business එකකින් පටන් ගන්න අදහසක් තියෙනවා නම්, the venture capital companies will be providing capital for your business, right? They will provide capital for your business. These are companies specialized in meeting the capital requirements of a business of new entrepreneurs. They also provide funds for the commencement of new businesses, for the expansion of existing businesses, and for business acquisition and purchase of assets, right? Or purchase of other businesses. Again, now, if you are planning on starting a business, if you are planning on expanding the business, or if you are planning on acquiring another business, you can go for a venture capital company. You can provide them the proposal, right? You can give them the business proposal and you can get a loan for your business idea, right? You can get a loan for your business idea to acquire, to expand, or to renovate your business, right? අනේ වගේ දේවල් වලට ඔයාලට capital ගන්න පුළුවන්. What are the functions that they have when it comes to venture capital? Providing funds for newly initiated businesses, providing funds for the expansion, and once again, there is underwriting of services, right? Underwriting services and funding for the acquisition of other businesses. Okay. Next one is credit rating agencies. දැන් මේක ඔයාලගේ theory tute එකේ තිබ්බේ නෑ, right? theory tute එකේ තිබ්බේ නෑ, but පරණ exam paper එක question එකක් අහලා තිබ්බ මේක ගැන, right? පරණ exam paper එක question එකක් අහලා තිබ්බා credit rating agencies කියලා. So I don't know if you have heard about this previously. So there is something called Moody's. It was a Fitch Ratings. It was a Lanta credit rating, right? අන්න ඒ වගේ organizations ටිකක් තියෙනවා. What do? Is they give ratings to finance companies. මම මේක theory class එකත් මතකයි මම මේක කිව්වා, right? But note එකකට include කරලා තිබ්බද කියලා මට හරියට මීටර් නෑ. Okay. Now credit rating agencies, these are independent organizations like Fitch Ratings or LRA, right? That evaluate the financial strength of a company or a specific financial instrument. Now, මෙතන LRA කියලා කියන්නේ Lanka Rating Agency, right? Lanka Rating, RATING, Lanka Rating Agency that evaluate the financial strength of a company or a specific debt instrument. ඔහොම කිව්වට තේරෙන්නේ ගන්න, this is like giving marks, right? For a particular debt instrument or a particular finance company, we are giving a score, right? ලකුණක් දෙනවා. ලකුණක් කියන්නේ මෙහෙම. Right? It starts with uh, A plus plus, right? Triple A plus. If a company or if a debt instrument has this particular rating, triple A hari triple A plus hari dila තියෙනවා නම්, that means this particular instrument or this particular company will 100% pay back, right? You have trust that this company will 100% pay back your debts, right? ඔයාලා ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරපු ගාන අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයාලට අනිත් පැත්තට හම්බ වෙනවාමයි. This is a highly trustable company. කියලා assurance එකක් තමයි දෙන්නේ. දැන් ලංකාවට තියෙන rating එක. Now Sri Lanka as a country we obtain loans from foreign countries, right? Foreign countries වලින් අපි loans ගන්නවා. Loans ගන්නකොට යාළුවා මේක ගන්නවා, right? අපේ ratings කියන එක නෙමෙයි, right? During 2021 අර අරගල කරන කාලේ, right? ආර්ථිකය කඩාන වැටෙන කාලේ, පොඩි කාලේ වාලා. During those times the country completely bankrupted කියලා, right? Completely bankrupted කියලා label එක වදිනවා. එහෙම වුණා. Right? So who does this? These are independent institutes. Right? These independent institutes, then whether this company, right, whether this country, whether this company, whether this particular debt instrument is good or bad. Now sometimes samahara, right? Samahara the public limited companies, they issue something to collect apart from shares, right? Apart from ළමයි මොනවද issue කරන්නේ? ඔයාලා දන්නවා? මට අහුණා මොනාරි කිව්වා. Huh? Debentures, right? We are issuing debentures. කෝ කාට එතන කට අග තියෙනවා කියා ගන්න බෑනේ. ඒකනේ මම දන්නවා මම කිව්වේ නෑ. කියන්න ගියා විතරයි. So debentures are the instruments that is issued by public limited companies to collect capital. Now when comes debentures, मैं debentures को trade करना, right? Debenture का trade करना, how good is this? Is the company is in a good situation, right? Company के financial situation ने කොහොමද? In order to pay back this, right? What is the situation of the company to pay back this interest for this particular instrument, right? Instrument එකට pay back කරන්න පුළුවන්ද නැද්ද කියලා තමයි මොනවාද මෙයාලා rate කරලා කියන්නේ. So sometimes සමහර companies වලට C හම් වෙනවා, right? D, B, right? B plus, B minus, A minus, right? අන්න ඒ වගේ ratings තියෙනවා. Sometimes they will get AAB, right? අන්න එහෙම. නිකන් බලගේ A level result එකේ තමයි, right? ඔයාලගේ A level result එකේ. ඔයාලා හොඳද නරකද වගේ එකක් කියන්නේ, right? ඔයාලා නිකන් S තුනක් වගේ දාලා තිබ්බම නම් ආප්පෝ මේව රහක් නෑ වගේ කියනවා. නේද අතින්? S තුනක් වගේ හදම්ම නම් මෙලව රහක් නෑ කියලා කියනන්නේ. අන්න ඒ වගේ. So හරි. So credit rating agencies වලට ඔයාලට examples තියෙනවා උතන Fitch ratings, Lanka rating agency, and apart from that you will have Moody's rating, right? Moody's කියන එක ඒකත් ලංකාව rate කරන, but that is international, right? Right. One second. So the credit rating agencies යාළුවා මොනවාද rate කරන්නේ? They rate the financial institutes and the debt instrument. Debt instruments කිව්වම ළමයි shares, debentures, තමුණක් තියෙනවා. What are the other debt instruments? Treasury bills, treasury bonds, තව The debenture is short term. Debenture is a long term one. What is the short term one? See, what is commercial papers, right? Commercial papers, debentures, right? Liagatra kamarne mam buying right? Debentures, treasury bills, treasury bonds, commercial papers. Those are some debt instruments that are used to by the companies, used by the companies. Okay. The next one is primary dealers. These are specialized intermediaries appointed by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka regarding government securities. They are the only dedicated institutions allowed to buy treasury bills and treasury bonds directly from the central bank and then sell them to the public and other banks. Right now, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, right? The Central Bank of Sri Lanka issues treasury bills and treasury bonds. Ne? Central Bank of Sri Lanka will issue treasury bills and treasury bonds. Now, we as investors, we can buy, right? We can invest in treasury bills and bonds. But the thing is, you can't directly purchase from the central bank. Central banking or directly purchase from the bank. You have to go to the secondary market, right? You have to go to the secondary market to buy treasury bills and bonds. Now, then who is the one who is allowed to purchase this on the first hand, right? Treasury bills and bonds are directly purchased under only to the primary dealers, right? This is able to be purchased only by the primary dealers. When the central bank is issuing treasury bills and bonds, the primary dealers are purchasing them. For this market, right? For this market, you call it as the primary market. Primary market right? So this is the first time. This is the first time where the treasury bill and bonds are traded. So you call it as the primary market. And then the primary dealers, they sell it to the individuals or maybe the institutions. These primary dealers will be selling them to individuals or institutions. This particular market, you call it as the secondary market. There are the primary market, there is secondary market. If you are if you're buying from CBSL itself, it is the primary. When primary dealers are selling it to the individuals and institutions, you call it as the secondary market. Even if I want to buy primary treasury bills, I have to go to secondary market only. Right. Now, the next one, right? The next type of finance institute, yeah, I can see your face. Yeah, me, මිරිකන මිත්‍ර ගත දෙහිගෙඩියක් කරේ. ගෙදර යන්න ඕන යන්න. වායින්ද? They're not 10. No. Right. Okay. The next one is unit trust, right? Now, before the unit trust, මෙහෙම ගන්න මට කියන්න right? Right. Tell me some financial tools or yeah, tell me some financial tools where you can invest money in. ඔයාලගේ සල්ලි ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන් financial tools මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? මට පහක් කියන්න. ඔයාලට සල්ලි ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන් තැන් පහක්. To earn an income, where can you invest money? You can invest in stock exchange, right? The stock exchange. CSE කියලා ගමු. The stock exchange. Then Mona, give me an example where you can invest your money. දන්න සාමාන්‍ය දේවල් දෙනනේ. Where can you invest your money? දැන් ඔයාලට මිලියන් එකක් දෙනවා ගෙනත් right? We give you 1 million each. We ask you to do some investments. කොයිද invest කරන්න? I think දෙකනේ stock exchange එකේ invest කරනවා. තව මොනවාද? ලොරෙන් කොහෙද invest කරන්නේ? She is going for a FD, right? Fixed deposit. And FD here යනවා. Then Casey, you are starting your own business, okay? No, I'm not a business, right? Apart from business, like any other investment sources, like third-party investment sources, nothing. Business, right? Apart from other business. Amisha, lands and property. Okay, you can go for a land, right? Real estate, ne? තව nothing. Really? Ciara, what can you do? Where can you invest? Someone said gold, right? Gold with pull. Then gold. But the gun come on. Boys, where can you invest money? It's to the full party. So, any examples that you can come up with? Okay. Treasury bills and bonds, right? Treasury bills and bonds. So these are, right? Look at this. These are some sources where you can invest your money when it comes to financial tools, right? May I know all the financial tools or suddenly invest. Now the thing is, right? Do you know about the stock market? No. Do you know about the treasury bills and bonds? No, right? Treasury bills and bonds ඔක්කොම ගැන දන්නේ නැහැ. Gold invest කරන්නේ කොහොමද? Right? Gold jewelry ගන්නවද? Gold biscuits ගන්නවද? Right? Gold coins ගන්නවද කියලා හරියට මේ දැනුමක් නැහැ. Real estate ගන්නවා නම් at least you need 50 million. But අතේ තියෙන්නේ 1 million. 1 million තියාගෙන real estate ගන්න බෑනේ. එයා මේ අර මං ඔයාලට අර කෙලවර විතරක් දෙන්නම් කියලා ඔන්න කෙලවරක් වෙන්න. Right? 1 million only right? So like FD, the interest are comparatively low, 7% and then the stock market, the return is high, but the risk is also high. You don't know, but you want to invest your 1 million at some place. What කැමති නෑ සල්ලි ටික නැති කරගන්න කැමතිත් නෑ. The stock market එකේ දාලා loss වුණොත් සල්ලි ටික නැති වෙනවනේ. So ඒකට දාන්නත් බයයි. හැබැයි FD එකට දාන්න කැමති නෑ interest එක අඩුයි කියලා. Gold වල invest කරන්න බෑ බයයි. හෙට අනිද්දාට ආයේ gold price අඩුවුනොත් කියලා බයයි. Gold price වැඩි වුණා නම් කමක් නෑ. එකපාර gold price අඩු වුණොත් දැන් නම් peak එකේ තියෙන්නේ එකපාර අඩු වුණොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? අන්න ඒ වගේ බයක් තියෙනවා. And treasury bills and bonds ගන්න තරම් දැනුමක් නෑ. So the best option that you can go is a unit trust. What does the unit trust do? What is a unit trust? Unit trust is a portfolio, right? Unit trust is a portfolio combining these types of investments. इन्वेस्टमेंट सेट करती है ना पोर्टफोलियो का नाम यूनिट ट्रस्ट का क्या it can be in two types, right? A portfolio which consists money market instruments or a portfolio which consists capital market instruments. Capital market instruments वोल्टा money market instruments वोल्टा invest करने portfolio दिखा पेड़ना बोला. ये मतलब था capital market plus money market देखे भी invest करने portfolio का पेड़ना बोला. तेरना कहने then CSE is a capital market. Like the capital market में invest करना पेड़ना बोला. FD is money market. ಅಂದ್ರೆ FD ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ करना है ना पूरा ಏಮಂತ CSA ಗೆ FD ಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನಾವೇನ पूरा ಯಾವಾಗ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ now why do you go for the interest is because you don't right if you are a person who doesn't have an idea how to do investments or you don't have time right you are so busy that you don't have time to monetize of this the stock market daily basis change राग ट्रेंड्स බලන්න ඕන නිවුස් කියවන්න ඕන patterns identify කරගන්න ඕන ඒකට වෙලාවක් නැහැ so what the best option is you can go for unit trust what is unit trust good right this is the unit fund this is the unit trustee uh, okay there is the unit trustee and there is the unit trust fund management company and the unit holders right Mm. Unit holder is the unit holder is giving the money to the unit trust fund and there is a fund management company okay the unit holder that is us right the unit holder is us the unit holder puts your money into a unit trust fund right unit trust fund එකට මොන සල්ලි ටික දාන්න right unit trust fund එකට සල්ලි ටික දාන්න and then fund management company right the fund management company who is controlling this unit fund they invest the money in different if they invest the money in different financial tools. यार different financial tools वलटा मैं साली टिका invest करना वाला. Okay. So this money is invested in the CSC, FD, real estate, gold, and treasury bills and bonds. In return, you will having average return, right? You will get average return from this, right? This average return will be provided to the unit trust holder. For example, let's say, right? For example, let's say, methodology in CSA, you will get a return, right? On annual basis, right? Annually, let's say you get a 70% return. You get a 70% return. Other lakshya dhamma, labda get lakshya daha penna pula. You invest in the FD. Sure shot, you will get 7% return. That means CA FD. In the stock market, you get 70. In CSC, the FD, you get 7. In real estates, you get somewhere around 4%, right? Real estate somewhere around 4%. Ekabar would have gold. It depends, right? Based on the market, gold will say on average you get 2% per year, right? Per year get 2%. Treasury bills and bonds right now it's somewhere around 7%, right? And him rate these are the interest rates or the returns that you get. Mm. Yes. Now, for paper 5, Mona had 80.5, Gihini 60, which uh, Gihini had 67, and Amisha 77, and Aisha, make Aisha then, na? Aisha then, na? 80.5, and Lorraine 94, very good. Iman 94, right? Kamata Manish. Oh, the thing is, right? The thing is, when it comes to the answers, I don't see any flow at all. Right? Flow means FLAW flow එකක් මම දකින්නේ නැහැ. Right? Because answer says extracted from somewhere ආගේ මම තේරෙනවා. Right? When I read the answer, when I read the words, right? අර grammar එක වචන ටික කියවද්දි මම නිකන් තේරුණා මේක වෙන කොහෙන් හරි බලාගෙන කිව්වා වගේ answer එකක් මට තේරුණා. So, kind of suspicious. I don't. If you are true to yourself, it's okay, right? You are true to yourself. තනියම නම් කරේ, that's good. Okay. But මට මේ පළවෙනි පොතේ මෙතේ කියවන එනකොට something MCQ එක මට හොයන්න බෑ. MCQ එක හරි. MCQ from හරි. ඒක issue එකක් නෑ. Right? MCQ I can't find how did you copy on it, burn bad. But when it comes to the writing, and I read your wordings, now the thing is, here, Barna, in one question, right? In one question, I was asking, right? There was a question. What is the identification? Like, sorry, the discovery, right? Discovery kind of question got තිබ්බා. Discovery kind of question got තියෙනවා. So discovery එක කියන්නේ someone identifying that there is a export market for dried fruits, right? So that is would be the answer. But if you give the question to an AI model, how do you get the answers is first they will explain what is discovery. Then only they will give then only the AI model will give you the answer. So the same thing has happened here. First, we have explained discovery is the first step of entrepreneurial process. In this scenario, normally you don't use the scenarios, right? The, the identification is first of now the excess fruit thrown away by farmers, right? ඒකේ ප්‍රොබ්ලම් එක තමයි දාන්නේ මේකේ ඔපචුනිටි එක මෙන්ෂන් කරලා නැහැ. එක්ස්පෝර්ට් මාකට් එක මෙන්ෂන් කරලා. ඒතර එතන ඒක නෑ. රයිට් ඩිස්කවරි ෆස්ට් ආන් එක කිව්වත් මට තේරුණා මේක කොහෙන් හරි උස්සපු එකක් තමයි කියලා. රයිට් ඔන්ලයින් රයිට් answers then same. Like බලමු අපිට අසරණ ආවේවස් කරමු අපි. Uh, other paper. So this is model paper 6. And then Alright. Now we'll go to question number 10. Then we'll go to question number 10. Assume that one of your relatives who retired recently has received 3 million from his EPF. Now he wants to invest his money in a fixed deposit account at a finance company. What advice would you give him for selecting an appropriate finance company? So, what advice would you give him to select an appropriate finance company? Finance company का तोड़ा करने का ही बहुत बड़ा समझो. Now suddenly deposit करना है, right? So, you are going to deposit money in a fixed deposit. So you are going to selecting a not a bank. You are selecting a finance company. So what are factors that you have to consider? One. Tell me one. Correct. Correct. The credit rating is given by the particular credit rating organization, right? Credit rating organizations are the credit rating, right? Fitch ratings, LRA, right? What are the credit ratings that they have? So you have to consider about that. Then what else? We have to first see whether this finance company is a registered finance company. That makes a central bank a registered finance company. Now, when it comes to the financial market, you can see many finance companies. They say, I will give you 25%, 30% interest. They will not give a yield. But not all of those companies that promises high interest are registered. Right? Unregistered finance companies keep. Over the finance company, no one knows about your money. Okay, so we have to make sure that the registered finance company is a central bank registered finance company. So that's point number 2. And then the FD का कारण होता है. अब agreement tag sign करेंगे तो FD का ban. अब agreement tag sign करें. What is the interest rate? What is the rule? What are the rules and regulations? What is the mature period? Is it compound interest or is it simple interest? We consider those, like we sign those agreements. We have to make sure we read the agreements properly, right? We have to make sure we read the agreements properly. We have to make sure what is the rules and regulations regarding the withdrawal, right? What is the rules and regulations regarding interest rates and no. So those are some points that you have to consider when it comes to selecting a finance company. You have to go through the credit ratings of that particular company. Then you have to go through the rules and regulations of the FD, right? Fixed deposit agreement. So you have to see whether the finance company is a registered one. And another thing, maybe you can, if possible, you have to go and see the stability, right? You have to stability and visiting data. Now we have to see whether the finance company is a stable one, right? Long positive future finance company because they are at the verge of bankruptcy. And bankrupt then on the finance company. Right? So we have to make sure that these companies are having a proper stability. So those are 4 points that we can consider. The neighbor, what does this particular year? Right? Then if you are writing about credit rating agencies can name become the rules and regulations thing. Right? Interest rates, mature periods can okay. 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 Then na peda 11, 12, 13, 14 discuss करा. Now there was a question, right? Ashisha asked the question. Briefly explain the difference between bank money and electronic money with example. So what are the difference that you have between bank money and electronic money? Bank money can be another bank money, first you can write. Bank money means the current account balances. It is the current account balance. Then what is e-money? These are digital balances of our savings accounts, right? These are digital balances of our savings account. So that is the difference. Our current account balances. This is the digital balance of our savings account. No. Mom ने क्या किया? Then when it comes to bank money and near money, අපි කියනවා bank money is the balances of the current account. එදා ඊට පස්සේ කිව්වා fixed deposit එකයි savings එකයි අපි bank money කියලා ගන්න නැහැ නේ. Fixed deposit එකයි savings එකයි bank money කියලා ගන්න නැහැ නේ. Fixed deposit and savings falls under what? Near money. It's almost money, not money. Yeah. But the case is like this, right? Where we draw the line is when I have a check and I go to a wholesaler, right? Wholesaler can check it out. You keep this check, right? I have written a 50,000 worth check. You keep this check and I buy your goods. I cash then on it. Yeah, field mage account is sadi araganawada naha eya eka right mama meyata promissory note එකකට එක දෙන්න right I will put the money 2 weeks later for the moment keep it right keep this check give me the goods මට එහෙම ගන්න පුළුවන්ද බැයිද පුළුවන් right හැබැයි මට පුළුවන්ද මගේ account book එක පෙන්නලා මගේ passport එක පෙන්නලා මගේ passport එකේ සල්ලි තියෙනවා මම ඔයාලට සෙට දෙන්නම් කියලා බඩු අරන් ඉන්න පුළුවන් බැ මගේ ඩෙබිට් කාඩ් එක මේ තියෙන්නේ මගේ ඩෙබිට් කාඩ් එකේ සල්ලි තියෙනවා මම හෙට සල්ලි දෙන්නම් කියලා අරගෙන ඉන්න පුළුවන්ද බැ but if it is check they can give the check they have signed it they can say after 2 weeks you can get the money කියලා දීලා එන්න පුළුවන් so that is the difference between bank money and near money bank money you can use it to do transaction but near money you have to convert it into cash ATM කාඩ් එක විතර වැඩ ATM කාඩ් එකේ සල්ලි ගත්තොත් තමයි මට payment කරන්න පුළුවන්. Online transfer කරොත් තමයි මට transaction එක කරන්න. But checks එහෙම නෙකේ. You can give the check and you can get the item. Cash ළමනස දින transfer කරන්න පුළුවන්. No issue. Clear? So that's why we draw the line for the difference between bank money and EM. Right. Now we'll go to another question then. 20. Explain why certain people are reluctant to use credit cards. Credit cards use card so since it is explained, we can go with 4 points. Right? Like a point like credit cards use card high interest. Yes, fear of debt. That's when you are using credit cards, අපේ සල්ලි දැන් කැපෙනවද? දැන් පස්සේ ගෙවුම් කියලා payment කරගෙන යනවා. But at the end of the month, payment කරගන්න බැරි වුණාම so there is a debt trap, right? Credit card, there is a debt trap. So fear of getting into debt trap is a reason, right? DEB, yeah, debt, right? Nine bullet කියලා බය. So that is one. Then when there is debt, there is a interest as well. Normally, for a credit card, they will charge 24% per year. Can master year දෙකයි අවුරුද්දට 24ක interest එකක් charge කරනවා minimum. Right? So that is another one, right? 24% interest rate charge. So that is very high. Even for a normal loan, you will be charged somewhere around 18%, right? But credit card get 24%. Maybe it's what I did now. Based on the bank interest. So high interest rate because of that also we don't pay. And then another why we don't use credit cards. Reluctant. Safe safety එක පොඩි බයක් තියෙනවා නේ. cards use කරන්න මේ card එක safe ද නැහැ card එක නැති වුණොත් right දැන් මේ card එක scam එකක් වුණොත් කියලා right safety concern due to safety concerns we are not using credit cards.
This money won't be retrieved back. If a scam or something happens, since it's a credit card, not a debit card, won't the bank take the responsibility?
I have given you the money. It's your responsibility. If someone scams you, you have to pay me that money. I'm the bank. You have to pay me that. I guess they can't do it. You're correct. I guess they can't do it. We don't know what is the payment that you have done. Like a scam, the regime takes after that. If you have done the payment, you have to pay me that. That safety concern, high interest, interest, not technologically literate, right? Technological literacy का मैं credit card का use करना था, right? Technological literacy का मैं credit card use करना, credit card के सारे लेकर होगा, payment कर होगा किला, idea का. So that is also a reason why people are not using credit cards. So you have to describe those 4 points. So here there is another question: what other facilities except bank overdraft can a person obtain apart from current sector? What other facilities except bank overdraft could be obtained by a businessman who maintains a company? Current account की मानो सेट overdraft पर अपडेट करना लगाना facilities. I can get a check. Then standing order vehicles. Then can get a bank statement. Right? Bank statements, standing order payments, checkbooks, right? Those are some other facilities that you can obtain apart from overdraft. We'll go to 24.
Sir, explain.
No. Explain that one.
So, third one which is state care only, state service. Third one.
State, yeah, the size that's businessmen which is obtained by many companies. एक मेंशन कर ला सेंटेंस एक डिस्क्राइब करो दैट यू डोंट हैव टू गो फॉर अ पैराग्राफ explanation and on a state service that businessman could be made in company mention the point right explain with the sentence that's it the kavita again ready Alright. 24. We'll go to 24. Make state the objectives of central bank. State the objective of central bank. The company now. The company kara. Sentence again. Describe it. That's right. Yeah. Then we'll go to the 24. Briefly explain how financial institutions contribute for the development of business. How financial institutions contribute for the development of business. One is obviously providing loans. Through providing loans, businesses are capable of purchasing assets, raw materials to their business services, etc. Expressing that. Right? Another point. में checkbooks देना, credit cards देना, right? State loans देना, right? I will take this money in fixed deposit, treasury bills. ये वाली है ना पूरा नहीं? Even for the development of business, right? The business wants to invest money in something, right? Business has excess money, right? The business has excess money. The excess money can be deposited in a what FD or in treasury bills and bonds, right? And they are just coming to the bank and any other. This is financing institute, right? Excess money of businesses can be invested in treasury bills and treasury bonds provided by primary dealers, right? Then ability to obtain leasing facilities, right? To get high value vessels, right? You can obtain leasing facility. You can obtain loans. Right. Yeah, investment schemes are there. Now, even when it comes to commercial bank, you have a million account, right? So, yeah, they give you a payment plan. So, you can invest money there for like 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, like 90 days of the order. 3 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5. That's the plans or invest करो. और मिलियन अगर एक करना बुलाने लगे क्या रास्ता है अगर करना payment plans होती है और ये investment plans थी unit trust थी right so those are some facilities given by financial institution for the development of businesses dan cuma kalau na okay answers dia now you write about leasing ability to obtain leasing facilities yes correct due to that how it affects the development of business in a strength yeah ability to invest money in treasury bills and bonds due to that how does business develop the treasury bills and bonds are developed in interest income this interest income can be used for the future development of business or to maintain cash flow like interest cash flow use excess money can be used to create a interest cash flow to the business. इतना भी है ना इतना बात करके क्या वाला है इतना बात करके वाला है अब यार एडवांस लेवल यदि ना पढ़े ना ब्रांड ना किसी भी इतना तीरा वाला ने पोता पक्का पोता किए वो पोते दिए में वाला से एक है ना ब्रांड चल रहा है ये मगर अन्य तो राइट a little bit thinking is needed. Okay. Now, if you have 2 million and we have 2 million, do you spend this money to buy a land or do you invest in the share market? Explain the decisions comparing the both options. Make a comment either you can write yes, I would invest in the share market, or someone can write no, I would invest in the land. So can write according. Now, how do you explain this? How to compare the options? How to compare? In land, right? How about the cost? Starting right, initial cost of purchasing a land is higher. It's high. But when it comes to purchasing shares, the initial cost of purchasing is very low. Even you can buy shares at 5-10 rupees. So shares right? Then how about the returns? Which one gets high return? For shares, you have high returns. For land, the return rate is comparatively low. But which one is stable? The investment return of land is stable, but investment return of shares is fluctuating, right? So it changes on daily basis. So here mentioned karana on my question. So based on those answers, you can say that I'm going with the land or I'm going to invest in the share market, right? That's your opinion. Sorry? Amish, okay? Even though the amount of cash and the signature of the check has been written correctly, the bank teller refused to pay cash over the bank counter. Right, for possible reasons for refusing the payment. The date is correct, amount of cash, the signature is correct, but still the check has been dishonored. Why did the check dishonor? There is no bank balance. Means of the balance, same, right? No bank balance, then same roti level to how much? That's then I get a the signature the question is the signature is correct. The question is you are on signature signature right? The amount of cash is also correct. The date is also correct. Then there is a garnish order. Right? Garnish order. What is that? A garnish order is the court says should stop all the payments regarding the bank. The Sohail Mahari deal Gandara, Sohail Askal de Sohail bank account of freeze color. So the Imad Dana Sohail in Hamza check here, cash karaga. Then one then right? That's a garnish order. Why the court has ordered to stop all the payments for the particular account. That's a garnish order. GARNISH garnish order. Then what else? What are other reasons? Huh? The depth of the drawer. Technical room is where it's at the box. So then, the cash card problem. Then, the cash card problem. So it was an example. Yeah. Family member has to. The family member has to end of the day. You can family member can account mark. Yeah, but you know, I can't remember. Right, yeah, family member can bar right? Check right account के bar आगे family member can या endorse करो तमा मैं cash क्या ना बराबर में चल even the family member या तो आई थिंक लेटर right? So a family member has to endorse the check, right? If family member do not come up, secure cash letter, done that, right? So that's one thing. And then Aru check the deal, Aru bank who are check the stop payment order by the bank. That is also another reason why the check will be dishonored, right? It's like a find the right? So pursuing current agriculture network के बारे में बोला network क्या आएगा नहीं right. Another question is more 20. Like the commercial bank services learner, there is another big learner. We will go 20. A cooperative rural bank does not differ from a commercial bank. Do you agree with this statement? In reasons for loans. Commercial bank कोई cooperative rural bank are they same? No. What is the difference? Same but what are the differences? Cooperative rural bank and a commercial bank. In commercial bank, you can have current accounts and foreign currency. But when it comes to commercial cooperative banks, you can't do current account transaction or foreign currency transactions. Now, when it comes to cooperative rural bank, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of establishing cooperative rural banks? To provide service, right? To provide service for the regional businesses, right? To provide service for the regional savings, right? For the community service. That's why we established cooperative rural bank. But commercial banks are established to make profits by providing services to businesses. So that is the purpose of commercial banks. Rural banks they provide service without expecting a profit. But when it comes to commercial banks, you provide services to the business and expect a profit. Commercial bank, they provide loans to customers. Cooperative rural bank, they provide loans for members. Loans members are provide loans. Commercial banks are accepting deposit from customers. Cooperative banks are accepting deposits from members and non-members. But only loans are provided to the members. Right? Members are like loans then the cooperative bank. Non-members are loans then the net. Right? Those points again. Members can obtain loans from cooperative banks. Customers can obtain loans from commercial banks. Right. Now we go to the next question. That is currently, financial companies are rapidly growing in Sri Lanka. Give for reasons for the rapid growth of finance companies. Extra, right? Take extra step beyond my time. Beyond my time, okay. So what are the reasons for the rapid growth of finance companies. Either when will finance companies face? Because one reason is the demand for loans, right? Because of the demand for loans, the demand for loans are getting increased day by day. That is one reason finance companies are growing. Increased demand for loans. Then loans. Oh, wait. हम पढ़ाएगा दूसरे लिए क्या करना है दिया क्या है मतलब बाहर नहीं तो this one was question one another reason availability of branches in rural areas availability of branches in rural areas. Another one, having the support of the central bank, having the support of the central bank. Another point, easy loan process. Another, for example, pat loan can loan can and then when pat loan can and so definitely easy loan process, right? Easy loan process. Yeah, that's the and then can so then 35. Loan 35. Difference between EPF and EDF. EPF, EDF differentiate. Who is contributing for the EPF? Who is contributing to EPF? And how much? What are the percentages? For the EPF, employee and employee. What is the percentage? Employees contributing. Employees contributing 8%. Employees contributing 12%. Employee is contributing 12%. Employer is contributing 8%. But when it comes to ETF, employer is contributing only 3%. Right? ETF for the employer 3%, EPF again employee 8, sorry, employee 12, employer 8. It was a now difference. Who is managing EPF and ETF? EPF is managed by the EPF is managed by the central bank. ETF is managed by the central bank. ETF is managed by the ETF board. ETF is managed by the ETF board. Two more. Right, two more. 37. Right, two ways that the relaxation of foreign exchange policy of a country affects businesses that are engaged in foreign trade of the country. How does relaxation of foreign exchange help businesses? Relaxation of foreign exchange. How does that help businesses? State instruments. Sorry, board has to recover. Right now, Bastan. Easy to get, easy to easy to receive, easy to receive. FDI and foreign direct investments are FDI, foreign direct investments into the country. Another point, another easy to conduct, easy to conduct foreign currency transactions. Easy to conduct foreign currency transactions. Since the rules and regulations regarding the foreign currency is relaxed, right? You are able to do foreign currency transaction easier, and due to that, foreigner will also try to invest more in Sri Lanka, right? So that 2 points. And the last question, right? Last question, huh? Extend to ways that the supervision of commercial banks and other financial institutions by CBSL affect consumers favorably. CBSL like finance institutions monitor the customer and favor. Customer and favor. Customer only favorably. Conducting you can answer it. Trust, right? So, the trust of the consumers increase regarding the financial institutions. The trust of the consumers increase regarding financial institutions. Another point that you want to ensures fair treatment, ensures fair treatment, ensures fair treatment to all finance companies, ensures fair treatment to all finance companies. Yeah. All right. Oh. Huh? So next day we'll be starting the next lesson in 2 runs. Right? We have done